do find there's lots of people who go out speaking, which I always want to promote, and I think it's amazing. But, you know, someone might have an hour's presentation and they'll go away, they'll write a speech, and then they'll deliver it. And I kind of want people to come to the level of thinking that if you were an artist, if you were an actor, and you had a 1 hour show, and people were coming to that show and possibly paying you, and you just wrote your play, practiced it a little bit at home, and then went off and delivered that play for an hour, most actors wouldn't do that. They would put a lot of time, a lot of preparation. They'd have a producer or a director, someone to give them feedback. They'd work on it really intently. Like they say, for every minute of a whatever, you know, whether you're speaking, it's an hour of preparation. And that's why for many people the experience is not the best, because I believe that some people don't always put the time and the preparation needed in order to really keep an audience engaged. That's the hard part. It's easy to stand up there and speak. It's not so hard. It's not as easy to keep an audience engaged for, you know, a whole hour.
That's really powerful. Now, why should people step up and speak out?
Why should they? Why shouldn't they?
Because a lot of people want to live in their own small world, minding their own business.
I don't believe they do, really.
You don't believe?
I think that there's something inauthentic about that, because I believe that human beings, we're born to want to connect with other people. You know, not many people want to live on an island by themselves. It's because of maybe things that have happened to them in the past. They've just made a decision, I don't want to. But most people, you know, want to be self-expressed and share. You know, we all have something of value to share with other people. I think that's why when you share something, whether it's your time, your money, your voice, and you get some feedback that you've made a difference to other people, that's the thing that that entices people, that gives us something back, that makes a difference to other people. So I don't think people may say they just want to live for themselves, or even maybe just for their family, but I think most people have it in them to want to impact other people and make a difference to people's lives.
So you think people do?
I think they do. They're just telling something's happened that they're kind of pushing people away. But inside, most people want to be connected, because on your deathbed, you know, you're going to be looking at the people around you, looking at the people's lives that you've touched. You're not going to be just, hopefully, not by yourself, thinking, I have all this money, but actually I haven't really made a difference in other people's lives.
So if they are not stepping up and speaking out, what process can you take them through for them to just get that energy out of themselves to really start speaking out?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a journey, isn't it?
It is a journey, but and I think some people will say not everybody wants to step out and speak. You know, they might be happy behind their computer doing whatever they're doing. But then if you are making an impact in other people's lives, at some point they're going to come knocking at your door, and they're going to want you to share your journey, or, you know, if you write a book, they're going to ask you to come and speak at some event. So at some point, if you touch people's lives, they will want to hear from you. I think one of the biggest things I could say to people when they start that journey, that just remember, speaking isn't about you. Do you know what I mean by that, Oscar?
No, you have to explain further. You know I don't know.
You might do.
I'm here to learn.
So when I'm saying speaking isn't about you, I mean, if you're speaking in front of 50, 100, 200, 500 people, it's actually about them.
Okay.
So
you don't have to concentrate on yourself, you have to concentrate on the people.
Of course. And then you're kind of outside yourself, you're out there with them. You're not inside your head.
So do you have to tell them what you want them to hear, or what they want you to hear?
Both.
Both?
You have to know what the audience wants. So therefore you should have done some research on who the audience is, why are they there, what is it that usually someone's asked you to speak. You know, what is it that, what's their objectives of asking you to speak at the event? What is it the audience needs? usually a need, a problem,
Yes.
and hopefully you're the solution to that
Wow.
to some degree. But just remember, speaking isn't about you. It's about who here can I make an impact in. And you won't always know how you're impacting somebody. It might be a story you shared or a quote, storytelling, guys. I know I haven't told much stories this evening, but stories are
I am missing
the way to go forward. So, that's kind of one of my big tips is just forget about you. It's not about you. Can I do this? Will I forget? People don't really care. They're there they want you to succeed. They want to be entertained. They want to enjoy listening to you. So if you actually are out there with people, and you're not focused on your nerves, then you will connect with them. Because it is about them.
But you can easily focus on your nerves, isn't it?
Of course. I will tell a story. I was delivering a speech on pitching, and that's why I always say don't go inside your head when you're speaking, because it can be very scary. And public speaking, I can do that with my eyes closed. But pitching is something within the past year I've been talking more and more about and delivering my workshop at the British Library. And I was doing this talk, and in the audience were a few, well, I call suits. So, they'd just come from the office, looked very dignified. One, he looked like he was a CEO of his own company. And he was sitting there and he kind of had his arms crossed and he was just looking at me. And he had this frown on his face. And he's frowning.
They can easily confuse you, isn't it?
As I was talking. And so I thought, no. And I could hear my voice going, oh, Elaine, he doesn't look happy. So I was like, no, let me focus. And then there was another Sue, what I call Sue. And he was sitting at the front. And he was looking down and he was kind of looking me up and down. He was really...
It's like, who is she?
He was, yeah. And I went inside my head and I had this conversation with myself that, obviously, they're not liking what I'm saying. Is it not making sense? And I could see that my words, I just wasn't as confident with my content.
Yes.
It was affecting my delivery. So immediately, because I just kind of just realised I was doing it and came back outside with the audience and connected with them. So I stopped listening to my own internal dialogue because it was very dangerous. And then at the end, we had a reception and I went up to one of the gentlemen who had been frowning at me and I said, how are you? Thinking he's the CEO, and he goes, that was great. I really loved that,
that was
mate.
a relief.
He goes, yeah, I just started my cab firm and that just, I really have to go out pitching now and get some more confidence. And I was laughing inside.
So it means that you don't even have to concentrate on them.
No, because you can't tell what an audience is thinking. He might have not had glasses. Hence why he was squinting. The other man at the front who was frowning, who knows, he might have had constipation or wind. Or he was thinking about his wife later on. You never know, what the audience is going through, so don't try and mind read them, because it can really throw you.
So you have to concentrate on yourself.
Well, just keep on being out there with them. Don't go inside your head.
Wow.
Wow.
I think those things easily happens, isn't it? And
it can.
If you are not careful, you can really lose the plot and you can mess up everything.
Yeah, because I caught myself when I could see that my delivery just wasn't fluid.
So how do you
I wasn't in the flow. I just went back out there. I stopped listening to myself. So I said, don't go inside your head, guys, because it can be really scary.
Is there a structured way in terms of delivery, your content? Is there any structured way? Some says when you go, you just have to, crack a joke for them to really calm down so that you can just start your speech. Some also says go straight to the point. How should your content be structured so that you makes that, especially the initial impact, where it will break all the ice, it will make the tension calms down, where you put a smile on everybody's face for you to continue? Is there any structure?
There's lots of ways. There's different ways to start your introduction. I personally think jokes are very dangerous because not everybody will. There's a difference between jokes and humour. With jokes, it's like you're doing a lot of set up to the joke, set up, punchline. And then you're wanting, you know, people to laugh. I did stand-up comedy, I think it was about 4 years ago. So guys, if you find public speaking scary, trust me, try comedy. You know, every 7 seconds you're meant to make people laugh.
And that's not easy.
No, and that's why, you know, jokes, there will be someone in the audience who doesn't like it, or so I'd never start with a joke. Yeah, personally.
But some are good at it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure they are, but it can be really hit and miss unless you're a seasoned speaker. You know the audience. If it's like an inside joke with the company or something like that, you know you've done some research on it. Great. But other ways to start, you know, I sometimes just start straight away with the story. A small little anecdote. I don't even introduce myself, I just go straight into it. Because it's people want to be hooked. A lot of people start with, hello, it's lovely to be here this afternoon. So today I'm going to talk.
You just keep them asleep already.
Yeah, it's been done so often. Come in with something different. You know, ask a couple of rhetorical questions at the beginning, or ask people direct questions to get them to raise their hands. Some people come in and get people to do an activity. You know, stand up and go speak to 5 people, or do high fives to get the energy up. There's different ways, but you just don't want to be doing the same as everybody else. But it sets the pace.
Something should
for the
set
rest.
the tone, yeah?
Yeah, it sets the tone.
It shouldn't necessarily be that you have to keep them smiling or laughing. Oh, okay.
No, but once again, that's like watching. You don't want to be watching. Even in a comedy, there's some tension going all the way through.
Yes.
But I love using humour. Sorry. That's my style. My style is a lot of laughing. I laugh with them. I laugh at myself. So my style is laughing and having a lot
It lightens
of humour.
the room, yeah?
It does, but it also depends on your content, because I tell my story about my journey of how I got into speaking, and there's definitely a part where I'm not laughing, and some people in the audience might be crying because I share some
emotional
things that I've been through. So once again, it's taken them, but even if you take them down in terms of sadness, you've got to bring them back up. Don't leave them down there.
Don't leave them down there.
You've got to remember, it's an emotional, it's a journey. Even people who will be giving talks around maybe something technical, you know, if they can find a stories have a lot of humour. They might have action, some conflict going on. Most stories have conflict. That's why they're engaging. So
I think we are still on our discussion, but you've touched on how to enter into their heart, right?
okay,
The middle part.
yes,
How should it look like?
the middle part.
Yes, of your speech.
I think it's a hard question to answer, Oscar, because I guess it's like saying, is there one way to cook a pizza?
Okay.
And there's not. There's so many different ways.
So it depends.
So many different toppings. You know, you can have from the simple structure to just having 3 main points, and have some anecdotes, examples for each point, and a message. It might be you want to tell a story all the way through. You know, there's no set way of doing things. There's so many different varieties. You've just got to find what works for you, and I think it's like speaking's an on the court activity. So it's as you do it, you go, oh, actually that worked well, and then your best things will come out of when you're actually doing it, not when you're thinking about it.
I see.
Even when you're writing it down, it's when you're practicing it at home or in front of the audience, and suddenly this magical thing comes out of your mouth, and you go, yeah, let's do this, and he goes, oh, that worked well.
You know, sometimes you can plan that this is what I'm going to say, but in the presence of delivering, you realize that great ideas come in your mind. What do you do?
I go with the flow.
You go with the flow.
You should just be in the flow. I know where I need to go. I've got my bullet points of the points I need to hit, but I'm just free. I'm freestyling, but not totally freestyling.
Okay.
Because I've got some structure. You've got to have structure, guys.
Yes.
It's like this building. You know, it's got the foundation of. The foundation is your message. What's the key thing you want people to take away from hearing you speak? You know, Les Brown, it's you got to be hungry.
Yes.
You know, Barack Obama, yes we can. You know, that was the key message,
yes.
and that's the foundation of a
And
building.
Oscar Bimpong, it's always possible if only you believe.
Say it again.
It's always possible if only you believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's your foundation.
Exactly.
And then the structure is the walls. It holds up the building. It holds up your speech, and it keeps you focused, so you know the next point to get back onto.
Wow, that's really interesting. Then conclusion.
Different once again. Different ways you can.
Because
end.
if you want a standing ovation, then I think the conclusion.
It's a crescendo.
Yes, it should really be the top in terms of your introduction, your model content, because I think it has to nail everything that you've said. Is there anything that you can tell listeners that, listen, this is the way forward?
In terms of your ending. Well, there's so many different ways. I mean, if you have a message, it's always good to kind of be seeding it all the way through your speech.
Well, some people get standing ovation, some don't.
Yeah.
Some just get clapping, and some just even get feeble clapping.
Yeah, I think it's down to how much the audience feels that it's impacted. It's been about them, and they've got value out of it, and so even in your content, it has to be about them, because people are always pulling information back to them. Yeah, I think if standing ovations, who knows? I'm sure someone knows the formula to that. Whether it's you've taken them on that journey, you've shared things that are slightly different, that are unique. It's a different point that they hadn't had to think about, and you've given them some action points. But a lot of speaking, people say, is actually how you make people feel at the end of the day. So that's the main thing.
So the emotions play an important role.
Huge part. Huge part. Tony Robbins, speaks about, emotions and state changes. He's a great one for changing people's energy states, and he knows how to do that. Really control how the audience is feeling and take them on another change. So it's kind of like being a conductor, that you're orchestrating all these different things happening.
Wow, I think there's more into this than we are discussing.
There's a lot.
That's why people need to come to your seminars.
Did you hear that, guys? I just want to say hello to everyone on Facebook Live if you're still there. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know if you've got any questions. I don't know if Frank will filter any questions.
Yeah, I think
might as well just do it live, guys, and then I can answer anything.
We'll be opening the phone lines at the last segment.
Phone lines.
For people to text and whatever, call in. Yes.
Must let us know the number.
Exactly.
Remember to phone in.
I think we'll be going for a quick commercial break again.
Okay.
I think you need that water, cup of tea. Then we will come back very soon. Please, if you are listening, please call a friend to listen, because this is very critical to our success in the 21st century. If you can't speak, I think you are priced out of the market. You should be able to have the confidence to communicate your ideas. The point is that people will buy your effective communication more than even the product that you are holding. So it is very critical that we learn how to speak. And this time and age, we are in the information age. Hard work does not play a role nowadays. It's the information that you hold that will bring the difference to the market and the difference to yourself. And speaking with power, that conviction is what will make the difference. Please don't change the dial. The Footprint Radio Talk Show with Elaine Powell in the hot seat, coming back very soon. Please don't change the dial.
Race number 1 for me.